Welcome to another Rust Rant, where I give my take on, well, whatever's honking me off on this particular day. So what is it today? Well, believe it or not, it's the NCAA Women's Basketball National Championship. Not particularly the game itself, because that was one where South Carolina, they got the deke over perennial powerhouse UConn. Final score in that one, 64-49. So the Gamecocks, national champions. Now, in any other situation, I would congratulate South Carolina for their national championship. This time, however, no congratulations for you. Now, why? Well, it has to do with the fact that as the national anthem was playing during the national championship game, instead of standing out on the court along the sidelines, the team decided they were all going to be in the locker room while the anthem was playing. Not just for the national championship game, but for the Final Four game and pretty much for the entire season. Now, according to South Carolina coach Dawn Staley, she told this to Andscape. Never even heard of that outlet before. But anyway, these are her words. Quote, "I love our country. I don't like what our country has come to or what our country has been, but I'd like to think that there are people in our country that's going to lead us more in a unified way than a divisive way, and I'm here for that." End quote. Well, I got a quote for her. This kind of gesture doesn't unify anyone. People are just getting sick and tired of watching these athletes kneel before the national anthem or stand in the locker room for the national anthem, disrespect our anthem, disrespect our flag, disrespect our country, and no matter what kind of bullpucky spin you want to put on it, that is what you are doing. You say you want to unify people, right? Well, guess what? This kind of gesture, it doesn't unify anyone. It just drives people away. And also, you're probably driving people away from you who, under any other circumstance, would go up to you and say, "Oh, okay, so you believe that there are these problems going on in the country that you feel need to be corrected. Well, let's hear what you have to say, and hopefully we can come together and we can find some kind of solution to this." But instead, you kneel during the anthem or you lock yourselves in your locker room while it's playing, and those people who you could have on your side are just going to say, "I ain't putting up with this anymore." And not only that, but do you really think you can achieve any kind of social change simply by kneeling during the national anthem or just waiting it out in the locker room? Well, I think I have an answer for that, and that answer is no. You're just going to turn away people, especially during a time when the NCAA is going all out to try to have more people watch the women's national tournament. And what South Carolina is doing ain't going to bring in more viewers. Now, are there issues in this country that need solving? Oh, yes, there are. And you solve them by getting as many people on your side as possible. And you don't do it by turning them away in some disrespectful and meaningless gesture like disrespecting the national anthem. Now, maybe what you can do is, yes, acknowledge the problems that we're having in this country, but you can also show gratitude toward this country. Gratitude that you live in a country that over the last century or so has actually self-corrected a lot of the problems we have had. And they've done it without having to defecate on our flag or our country. Maybe also show gratitude that you live in a country where you can actually affect change through peaceful protest and, as it says in the Constitution, petitioning the government for a redress of grievances. Because you try that in a lot of other countries out there, you're going to wind up in jail. Or if you're in Canada, then their bucket of worm puke, cowardly moron Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will declare you a terrorist, and he will well, they call themselves police, But the way they acted during the Freedom Convoy protests were more like bullies with badges, roughing up peaceful protesters, and in one case, trampling an elderly indigenous woman with a horse. And also, maybe show gratitude that you live in a country where you can go to a big university and get an education by being good at dribbling a ball. That's my rant for today. Time for me to go out and calm down a little bit. Have yourselves a good one, and I'll see you next time.